Let's bring in Kosha Gada. She's a Sky News contributor. Kosha, we have spoken many times during this campaign. I think we've said almost every time we spoke that it looks like a coin flip. Is there anything that you've seen today that's changed your position yet as to just how close this is, this presidential race?
Not yet conclusively, and great to be with you as always, Kieran, but there are certain signals that are interesting. So I think there's four things really, if I were to boil it down. Number one is the issue set. We've talked about this throughout the campaign. Trump has always held stronger on that in terms of the trust that people are placing in him for the economy, for immigration, for the border, all of those key issues. And in all the exit polling, that's looking to be holding. The second is the ground game. This, I think, is going to be the biggest story coming out of election night over here of how much the Republican ground game improved, and when they always used to shun early voting, the fact that they completely flipped it sort of under the radar, people weren't even focused on it so much, is huge because they're going into election night with a very strong position in the Sun Belt as well as in the Rust Belt. Three, I think, is this preference cascade of how many people, high-profile, serious people in their fields have come out and endorsed Trump as recently as last night with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk and RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard and all of them. I think that's giving a little bit of a permission structure to independents. It's too early to say, but there have been a couple of exit polls coming out of Georgia that are saying independents are actually breaking heavily for Trump, which would favor him. And I think that cast of characters that have come out to support him maybe have been a key role in that. And then lastly, I would just say the independent media ecosystem with X and streaming and all of that has also been a palpable game changer, I think, for being able to get specific messages out to specific parts of the constituency and the electorate, because it's a very complex fabric, American society right now, and that's something that's been very different that we didn't see previously. You put all that together, I think the momentum is with Trump, but it is still too early to say. We need to see something coming out of those Great Lakes states.
Yes, indeed. If we break down the seven battlegrounds, you've got the blue wall, as it's known. You've got the Sun Belt, and then the southern states of North Carolina and Georgia. Do you see a scenario where they will essentially split? You will get some won by Trump, some won by Harris, or is your inclination to think that there might be a clean sweep one way or the other?
You know, that's $1 million question. I think the Rust Belt states, so Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, tend to always vote as a bloc. They have every single time since 1988. So there's no reason to believe that any one of those three would break away, though anything is possible. And then on the Sun Belt side as well, they tend to go in tandem. Nevada typically would be the one to break away, but Republicans are very strong right now. They came in strong with early voting, and they've maintained their lead over there. The rurals are coming out and basically canceling out the urban vote in most of them. One other thing that's interesting, too, is Florida, which is very organized. They've got 29 million people, and they seem to be able to count and report results within an hour of the polls closing, which all states are not as good at, as we know. It's stunning, actually, right now what's happening there, where Trump is running ahead of 2020. He has flipped Miami-Dade, which is a county that's typically very Democrat-friendly, and often certain counties in Florida, like Duval County, is considered a bellwether or a leading indicator of the rest of the Sun Belt. So that looks very good for him. Not necessarily, because in 2022, Florida was also very successful for Trump, and it did not, or for the Republicans, I should say, and it did not spill over into the rest of the country. So I would say take it with a grain of salt. But at least so far, the Florida results are quite stunning, and I think they indicate a bit of a sweep type of momentum for the Sun Belt.